Good evening, everyone. If you don't see the live button, it should be up at the top of your screen. You are watching the replay. Just waiting for Kim to hop on so I can pull her in. It is 6:18. There she is. Okay, let's pull Kim in. Add. Hi, Karen. All right, I gotta figure out what to do, which one I want to listen to. Hi, Anna. Hi, Susan. Kim's coming. Says it's adding her, so she should connecting. There she is.
Yay! Hello! Hello, everyone. How is everybody?
Kim, do you have your other device up so you can see messages?
Yep, I'm just setting that up right now.
Okay. You're a little pixelated, but it looks like it's clearing up. So you should be.
Probably just from loading, I would say. I have my other device up, and I am so ready and charged and excited about today. Big reveal.
I have to close my door.
How is everybody going?
See who's here. We've got Karen, Susan, Anna, Kelly Quinn, Lynn Riley. Hi, everyone.
Hey, welcome, everyone. Great to have you with us.
Just a quick heads up reminder that there is about a 30-second delay. I've got two devices running. Kim's got two devices running, so we can try to keep track of comments.
Yep,
if we miss your question, hi Cindy. Thanks, Susan. If we miss any comments, re-put them in. Yeah, and I do have a list of questions from Ann Adkins, but I'm gonna let Kim do her thing first. So you're up, Kim.
So just how is everyone going? You all going well? And it's great to have Joe hosting today. I understand they're a little bit pixelated, but that should hopefully settle in. Yeah. How's it looking right now to you, Joe? Is the pixelating settling?
It's in and out a little bit, but it's not bad. It's better. Okay. It's a lot better than when you first came on. So hopefully it'll straighten itself out.
Okay, excellent. All right, so it's great to have you all here. Yeah, just wondering whether we need to have a little bit of chat about. So today, maybe we will just talk about a couple of things. So that's starting to clear up even better, I think, now. So that's really good. Sorry, I'm looking through the two devices here. So, all right, so we do have our exciting news. When do you think we will deliver that, Joe? Within this, when do you want to talk about the new, or talk about some hints and tips on what we're doing, or some answers and questions? What do you want to do?
All right, yeah, let's do some answers and questions first, and then we can talk about the flax.
Just waiting for more people.
Talk about talk about the new play. Looks better now, Cindy said. Kelly said, good to hear.
Oh, good.
Kathy, it's all good. Susan Brooks said, hi, Kim. All right, so.
Hi, everybody.
I have a list.
Thanks.
I have a list.
You have a list?
We have a
little list.
Feel free to watch the replay, and of course, stuff pops up on my computer to block my comments. We're going to start out with some questions that Ann Adkins had. The first question is, can you solder silver jump rings onto bronze with silver solder?
Yeah, the problem we've got is if you don't have a good flux, it's going to oxidize in that process. And so flux is the kind of key ingredient. It's not the easiest thing to do. Yeah, so apart from...
Isn't it also like a flow issue because the bronze is going to take a hotter heat? Because when you
solder, that's correct.
Your pieces have to all be kind of the same temperature.
Equal. Yeah. And you're not going to get the bronze up to that heat temperature, because then it's just going to draw that away from what you're doing with the silver. I'm not saying it's not possible. It is possible, but it sometimes people tend to stop doing it because it's more frustrating than possible. So yeah, it's going to be a bit of a trial and error, and again, it does make a difference on the flux. There is a different flux temperature as well, and that will allow that how your solder will flow with that as well. So that's probably about the only best answer I can give you at this stage, Anne. So yeah, good to ask those questions.
Susan Brooks said, "Hi, Kim."
Hi. Just have a look at my pendant. Okay. Yep.
Next question
What's your
is,
next?
it's about super fast firing, because which actually we're gonna come back to that, because we'll talk about firing schedules. So we're gonna come back to that question, and then we'll segue into that. Which
Yep, okay.
base, which boy, so this puts us in a situation. Which base metal is closest in color to 999 and 960? Should we revisit that as well?
Yeah, revisit that one too, because we'll link that one up too. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, super fast firing, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Next question is, can you make syringe clay with base metals?
Can you say that again? Can you what?
Syringe the base metals.
Yeah, absolute. I actually did a video it's on YouTube, and it's to do with the clay stay. So if you check that out on YouTube, it's probably about last year, I think I did it. Yeah, I don't think it was beginning of this year. And I did do it in the probably I'm not sure it was the old version. I can't remember.
It was
But either way, it doesn't matter. It was the old version. Yep, cool. Yep. So just have a look for the clay stay one, and you'll see the little syringe pieces on. I think it's in the front of the photo, and you can show you how to mix it, how to make your own. And so yeah, you can syringe all of them. Now just remember that when you're syringing, just make sure that you don't add too much liquid in it. If you add too much of the clay spray, if you add too much, it's going to slump on you, or the clay stay. It will slump on you. So there's a fine line between that. So just work out that fine line. So a little trial and error, but I do actually show you how to do that. So check that out. Hi Terry, welcome darling. Carol, great to have you too. If I haven't missed anybody else, Susan, Mary Beth, I loved your flower. That was just fantastic.
In case anyone didn't see it, because I know that question was actually asked in the group too, and I think Roz put up that don't use water because of that very reason, because it'll slump.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the water makes it more like a paste, and it starts to fall away. So therefore, it's not going to hold itself in what you're syringing. So we will tutorial on color fusion. I've got Carol's question there too, if you want to do that.
Carol asked, I just received silver and gold bronze. Will your tutorial on bronze color fusion teach me how to blend the two?
As long as they're both bronzes. So yes, Carol, the silver bronze. So unless it's called silver, just in the silver 999 or 960, then obviously that's the question. Answer would be no. But if you've got silver bronze and gold bronze, yes. My tutorial actually will go, and my pieces are here. It will go over all of those. It's just focusing on my face, so I'll get that off. It will go over adding 4 colors, which is all the premium, which is any one of these. Excuse, it's a different label, but yeah, so it'll go on any of these. That's the clay that you've got to purchase when you want to do any fusion, and that is the tutorial that will be about. So
Uh-oh. There she is.
Turtle
Froze
there.
up.
So froze up. Are we good now?
You're good now. Yep.
Okay,
And
good.
in case you
So
missed
yeah,
it, I think that we have said it on almost every Q&A. The silver bronze, and you'll see it if you do get Kim's Fusion tutorial. The silver bronze, any of the white base metals are they need support. They have to be they're weaker than the rest of the base metals. So
yeah,
in the tutorial, and
they're
Kim
they're
does
more.
explain.
Yeah, and I explain how to support your piece. So most of my tutorials I cover a lot of areas. So these principles that you're actually be doing, whether you're mixing 2 colors or 3 colors or even the 4 colors, the principles are going to be the same for you in that I teach you a lot of other ways that you can actually implement that too. So yeah, it's not just about those 2 pieces. It's a technique in which you can put them together with other designs and any of your pieces. So if you're using a lot of silver bronze, this will help you support your silver bronze with another color, giving that structural support. So you know that as I said, I'll use the example. Mary Beth did a beautiful flower in the silver bronze, and yeah, with the technique that I've done, I wouldn't have any problems with the way that I've added other colors to it to support that, and so that gets us using the top color that we want, but gives us the support by using another color. So yeah, there are big benefits by that, and that those techniques will follow on with other processes that you're going to do within your jewelry designs.
Okay, so now we're gonna swing back around to one of Anne's questions, 2 actually. First one is, what's the best clay for the Cricut? And we're clearly, just
Yeah,
so everybody knows, we're strictly talking about Aussie metal clay. We're not talking about any other brand. Hi, Pam. Hi, everybody that we missed.
all right. So, yeah, hello everyone we've missed if we you've jumped on a bit since now. All right, so I can literally fill my hand with every clay. So if I turned around and I said silver, these are just packets I've got on my bench here where I've got clays that I've been using. 999 argentium, any of the bronzes, the coppers. If I can actually turn around and just say to you, every clay that's here that is in the standard, not origami, so everything else can be used for this method. Oh, I've just gone pixelated, I can see.
Yep.
So yeah, tell me when I'm back. I don't know, I'll just see if this device is on. I think I'll see if I can get this device going. I'll just switch that on and hopefully that will kick over. All right, it's loading. All right, so let's hope that I can get a better.
While doing that, let's talk about my COVID hair for a second. My hair is usually this long. So I can't do anything with it. This is as good as it gets. Don't judge me.
You look like a nice Pebbles anyway.
It's as good as it gets. Really, it is good as it gets. I can't do anything with it. Oh, okay, so you're looking, let's see. I'm looking here, I'm looking there. You're still pixelating a little bit. But I think it's better. All right, so we've done that question.
Maybe we're going to have to jump into our things before if I pixelate too long.
Yeah, so
I'm not going to be able to see my piece.
Question. We want to talk about firing schedule. One of the questions that Anne had was, it's basically what's the difference between, if you've looked at the clay, at the instructions, you'll notice there are a couple of different ways to fire the base metals. So the question is, what's the difference between super fast fire and the 2-hour standard fire? Is the clay as strong if you do, after it's sintered, if you do the super fast fire instead of the 2 hour fire. Did I confuse you? Because I just
Yeah.
confused.
No. No, not at all. I hope everyone else has got it. Okay, so the difference between the super fast fire, I never recommend that for a beginner. Okay, so that is for somebody who has already worked out. So if you are new to Aussie metal clay, make sure you do the standard process 2 hours. That works best. Super fast fire is somebody who's intermediate, who's already done, who's already, pretty much got a good roll on it, understand everything. Because what you're doing is it's a compromise between the temperature and the time. So that's what you're doing. You're creating a higher temperature for a lower amount of time. So it's this L. I always talk to these girls. It's always this L shape that you're looking at. So compromising. So you compromise on so you will be raising the temperature for a lower temperature. All right. And
Wait,
that's
did
the
you
way
mean
in
the
which,
temperature for a lower time?
yeah, for less time. So that's the super fast fire. That's the how do you want to say it? The science behind that is that it's a compromise between the two. Instead of normally it's a low temperature and high length of time or long length of time. Okay, so low temperature, high length of time. We're flipping that, and that's why I say it's kind of like an L. We're just changing the direction, and we're going for high temperature and short amount of time.
But
Does
it's
that
just
make
it's just as strong
sense?
when it's centered, oh, right?
Yeah, but it takes it if you're short with your time, sorry, the temperature. So if you're low with that temperature, then you're not going to get the right center. So you've got to get that right temperature for the amount of time that you're working with. Okay,
Right.
so yeah, and it's possible, but you don't be a beginner and do this, because you're only going to get frustrated because you need to understand already, and to have that confidence that that the clay works, everything works well. Now you're taking to a next level, and moving into it. It's just, as I said, it's just flipping it, and it's a little bit harder for a beginner to come straight into that, because they're just going to get you can get melts. You can get easier melts because you're trying to search for that right optimal temperature for that. But it does work. Now the other thing is too, if you add 3 or 4 pieces in, you have to then also check the temperature with that, because you may be 2 or 3 degrees off actual centering point, because now that's the heat is expanding over the 3 pieces. And yeah, so it's I still do the long, which is the 2 hours, and because most of my pieces generally be quite big, and I want to make sure I absolutely know that if I could chuck a piece into the kiln, and I know exactly what I'm at, I know how it's going to come out, rather than risking my design. But if it's something that you want to play with, and yeah, so I still do it the long way, 2 hours, and but I have done it in the short time, and it does work. But as I said, it's more frustrating, I think, for people who are new or just got a handle on it. I think you're too fresh at that stage. You need to have a little bit more maturity within your metal clay direction, and happy to have a couple of failures. I mean, you've got to have failures in which that teaches you how to move on to the next step. So rather than getting all sad and this not work, yeah. So
And the other
it's
key
about
to that,
maturity.
and the other key to that again is test strip, test strip, test strip, and know your kiln. You have to know your kiln. Like I've always said,
Got
don't
to know you
be.
can.
I took a whole packet. I put it in. It ruined it. A whole packet of clay. Don't be Joanna. Don't do what Joanna's
You
do.
don't have
Do
to.
your test
Yeah,
strips.
exactly. You don't have to do what Roz has set up, she has set up now, please do, I can't enforce this more. I'd like to be able to go stand over your bench while you're about to ready to put this in the kiln, and I cannot tell you how important it is. Roz gave you a sliding scale because all of our kilns are different. Now, what I request for you, and to make life easier, you have one test strip and start at the bottom. If you start at the top and you melt it, you've got no opportunity to come back to it and fix it. What you do is you come back. Oh, gee, this pixelating looks terrible. I look good on mine, but that's terrible on that.
We can
So
hear
is it
you
still
okay, so that's a bonus.
Sorry about that, guys. I don't know why. Normally we're running good. And everything's going. Sorry, I'm just trying to read what I've got. So with that, a sliding scale means that if you start at the bottom and you have one test strip and you just bend the end, I'm just going to do, and not hoping yet you can see, or hopefully you can see me, just get your little round nose pliers, bend the end round, right? So you get, and you know, then you've got a reasonably good center. Well, you should have a good center at that if it hasn't cracked. Now, if it has cracked, and that's why I get you to do a reasonably good length one, is that if it's cracked, just pop this back into the kiln. You haven't wasted any more material. Pop that back into the kiln and then raise it by 3 to 5 degrees. It all depends. If it literally you touch the end of it and just kind of just completely snapped off, then you know you've got a little bit further to go. So I'd go 5 degrees. But if it got a bend and you got it, and just almost before it cracked, you know, you got a bend starting on it, then you know you're probably around about 3 degrees. You might need to go up a bit more, but what you're going to find is that's the best way to do it. So start at the bottom. You're only going to use one test strip and then just keep bending each time you get out. You might go between 3 to 5 firings, and you know, and that's just for each clay. That's how I would do it. I mean, but you've got that sliding scale for that reason.
Right, and when Kim says start at the bottom, she means start at the bottom temperature that are in the instructions that Roz gives us. The other thing is doing test strips. You cannot bend the silver bronze or the snow white copper. So the only way that you're going to know that is if you drop it and it has that metal sound. And when I first started, I took something that was metal that I knew would make that sound so I could compare the two. And I usually drop it on, actually, to be honest, I drop it on my kitchen tile. So see if I get that ting sound. And Kim, how many cards thick are your test strips? 3 cards thick?
Yeah, 3 cards thick. I always find that 3 cards thick is sufficient. I've done thousands, and I'm not kidding, thousands of tests and test strips. I kind of wish I probably kept them all. I'd have a bucket full of them. Yeah, so yeah, but yeah, and just with working out all these processes of these different clays. So yeah, I think that kind of answers. But completely dropping it on a tile is great. That's probably the best way, and having another piece of metal. As long as it's a solid piece of metal, not hollow, but you'll get to hear that sound. That's probably more where a beginner will be.
Right. Terry asked a question earlier when we were talking about the Cricut. Do we just roll out any roll any clay out and dry before cutting in the Cricut or Silhouette? Yes.
Yes. And dry. It will depend on the thickness too, Terry. Anywhere from 2 cards, 3 cards, 4 cards. You can do 5 cards. You will just have to repeat it. You cut if you're going on in a deeper. So yeah, okay. So any clay will do it, and just make sure your clay is dry, and make sure you've woken up your clay beforehand. And I will
And
show
I
you, I've got a
will, and
piece
I
here that I'm going to
will,
wait.
I'm going to take a minute to do a plug here for Kim on her Cricut tutorial. It is an older tutorial. There's a few things that have changed, like she uses, you know, she didn't have clay stay back then, et cetera, et cetera. But I have a Cricut, which you can't see in this photo, but you can, you know, see everything else. Air or heat dry. Dehydrator should be air and heat dry, really, right? Susan asked, air or heat dry.
I prefer the Ultimate Premium holds a lot of moisture in it. That gives us a great working time. So I would heat dry and then let it rest. Once it's dried, let it rest on the bench, but don't leave it there to sit there for, you know, for a whole 2 or 3 hours. You should just have I call it a sheet, or we call it a slab. But and this, I presume this is for the Cricut. Is that where the question's coming from?
Yeah.
Or we just asking as test strips? So in test strips, if we're just doing, it doesn't matter. If it doesn't matter, whatever it is, make sure that you, if you have placed it onto if you're drying a test strip and you place it in the air and air dry it, then all you're going to need to do is then dry it on a heat before you put it in the kiln. Check it with a mirror. Just before you put it in the kiln, check it with, heat it up, and then put it on a mirror and check that out and see how you go with that, because I bet your bottom dollar it's probably not 100%, and that's where some of the people are having a little issue with getting some bubbles and that, because they're leaving it on the bench for 12 hours or 24 hours, and it's probably not, depends on where they are. It's if whether they're in a hot country, cold country, is there a lot of moisture? Yeah, so always 100% every time you go to put anything in the kiln, heat it up, put it on a mirror. Okay, every piece you're about to put in the kiln, doesn't matter what clay it is, heat it up. You only need it so it's warm to touch, and then pop it onto a mirror and just move it back and see if there's any moisture. Every time. Even me, if I've had a piece sitting on my bench, I will go heat it, and I'll do that.
All right, Susan said for the Cricut, air or heat dry.
Yeah, it doesn't, as long as you do the process I've just said. If you've air dried it on the bench, doesn't matter. As I said, doesn't matter whether it's a test strip, a sheet for the Cricut. It makes no difference. It doesn't matter if it's a charm. It doesn't matter if it's a pendant, a ring, whatever. You have to heat it up and double check, because you don't want to waste all your effort on a piece that's slightly damp that's going into the kiln. Don't risk it. So yeah, put it onto, heat it up, and as I said, I don't know if it doesn't matter if you use a hairdryer to heat it up. If you naturally always have it on the bench, and to air dry it, then put it straight back on a hairdryer. If you don't have any other heat source, hair dry it, warm it up just so it's nice and warm to touch. Put it on a mirror and see if there's, and move it. You only need it there for a second, and move it and see if there's any moisture there. If there's moisture there, you'll know then you need to heat it longer. Okay.
Okay, so this is going to take us down a road here. PM Jones said test strip can't be dried on a mug warmer. And I'm going to take this over on you, Kim, because I know you've explained it. Mug warmers have a tendency to get really hot. So Kim has said that dehydrator is the best way to do it. But if you have to use a mug warmer, make sure that it has a temperature control on it, like low or high. Do it on low. Do it on low. And the other thing is too, is make sure you flip it, because remember, it's heating from the bottom, where if you have a dehydrator, the air is flowing around it. And yes, I talk a lot with my hands. The other thing is, Kim has mentioned this before, and if she's changed her mind on this, she'll tell me. But if you have to use a mug warmer that doesn't have a temperature control, you can put it on a metal, and I have one right here. So like, yeah, so like that, a metal rack on top of it, so it's not sitting right on top of the mug warmer.
Yep. This is a really
Susan,
good way.
yeah,
It's a really good way to dry off. So
Susan, specifically dry before putting in a Cricut. Yes. I mean, you probably have a little more leeway. It's not like, there's a tiny bit of moisture in it, but it should be dry before you run it through the Cricut. Otherwise, the needle's going to drag it, the clay. Am I correct on that, Kim?
yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Clay has
So,
to be dry. Yep. Clay has to be dried. Yep. Woken up and dried and woken up before it gets to the Cricut.
right. Okay. So we're going to do a quick turn to burnishing powder. What is so special about Aussie Metal Clay burnishing powder?
What's so awesome about it cleans? It does an amazing job. And I'm getting some
Kim,
feedback. So if you've tried,
some feedback. Go ahead. On your
yeah,
feedback. She got exciting feedback.
I got some exciting feedback. But if you have tried the burnishing powder, and you can put a big thumbs up, put it in the comments below. That would be great to say that you've tried it and you love it. Yeah, I remember. Yep, that's the one. Again, it's just not a plug. It's just about products that really work. And anything that I tell you, anything I say to you is because I love it, and it's not because I'm selling. I'm not selling it. I don't get I don't get benefits from it. I don't get money from this. And not even this chat, not any of this chats or anything I'm doing. I don't get paid by Joe. I don't get paid by anybody else. I don't get paid by Roslyn Bailey, the maker. So when I say to you, is it helps all my designs come up absolutely amazing within the magnetic tumbler, and that is one of the top products I've actually I've ever tried. I've been using it for 7 years, and it's amazing. And I as I said, if you've tried it, pop it into the comments below, and let us know what you think. I'm really, I don't know how much pixelating you've got over there, but we may have to reveal.
You're really, really good right now. You haven't
All right.
pixelated into that. But I'm going to say that,
Okay.
and then you're just going to pixelate again.
Yeah. All right. So let me jump in. Do you reckon I can cut across this and start introduce this new situation, this new clay?
Not yet. So I just want to. Okay. I want to go back to two things. The Cricut tutorial that Kim had is extremely extensive, even how to use Cricut software. And I bought that tutorial, and I used that tutorial, and she covers everything. Like I said, some of it is a little outdated, et cetera, well worth the money, especially if you're from America, from the US. But it's well worth the money no matter what. And then there she pixelates again. Karen Rumpel says, I did an experiment. I had Aussie's burnishing powder, a liquid one from Rio, and another powder one from Amazon. Rio's did half the job in my magnetic tumbler in 10 minutes. Amazon's did pretty much nothing after 40 minutes. Aussie's was unbelievably amazing after 10 minutes. Ross has also been asked to make a bigger quantity of the burnishing powder, so I suspect that we'll see that in the very near future. I also want to see I feel like people are not utilizing the Aussie Metal Clay and the Aussie Metal Clay USA site the way that they could be. We have hugely in sound along with pixelating. Looks like a bad foreign film. All right, everyone, let us know if you can hear us okay. I'm just going to turn my volume up here for a minute. All right, everyone, let us know if you can hear us okay. I'm just going to turn my volume up here for a minute. Okay, so I'm okay. So the Aussie Metal Clay sites, USA and Australia, aka I call it Oz. there is a whole list of, oh, I'm pixelating too. And the lag's not bad.
You are.
So many frequently asked questions. There's how-to videos on there. You can find our teachers on there, which I will be doing Cindy Eccles' interview, so she can be the featured teacher very soon. So she'll be new on there. Gallery of everyone's, not just teachers, not just Kim, of their creations that they've done on there. The story of how Aussie Metal Clay got started. My story is on my website, Aussie Metal Clay USA. Use those websites to your advantage. Hi, Irene. Okay, Kim, yeah, we're gonna try to do this. Yeah, bigger packet. Anna said yes, bigger packets of burnishing powder. All right, so now I'm going to have Kim, but we're gonna start with Anna's question that's gonna segue into this. Which base metal is closest in color to 999 and which base metal is closer to 960 in color?
All right. So hopefully we've got enough. If we have, do you think we've got enough? We're not pixelating enough. We need to start again, or we're happy to go.
I'm going to tell you to go quick. I'm going to watch you on this screen.
All right. Okay. So what's the closest is to 999, 960. That's what the question was from Anne. Is that correct, or from you, or whoever?
Okay, hang on a minute. Hang on 1 second. We might have to start over. Do
Yeah,
you think? All right. How is everyone's picture and sound? Do you think that we need to, before we do this?
Part 2.
Yeah, part 2. Oh, Pam says keep going.
Yeah.
Do you think we should restart? Do you think we should just keep going? Because we're both
because it's really,
which
but
is
it's
weird,
really bad.
Right, yeah, we're gonna restart. We are.
Yeah, it's not. Part 2. Yeah.
Be back in. Oh yeah, wrong device. Okay.